let's face it, we all have limitations. It's part of our humanity. We don't do everything right and we don't do everything perfect. And that's okay. We shouldn't sweat that. Today we're discussing in my book, Who Told You You Couldn't Be You? The 10 Secrets to Living the Authentic You. And we're talking about secret number 3, don't sweat your limitations. And I am happy to have as our guest Dramel Henry, who is a licensed clinical social worker. She also owns her own private practice. Her focus is on bipolar, anxiety, and trauma. She works with adolescents and adults, and she is a success. So today we're happy to have her. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So today I wanted to ask you, since you have been a success, I know that you have had some limitations you have had not to sweat. So why don't you talk a little bit about that and what that's been like?
One of the things that I've struggled with as a therapist is I'm the oldest of 4 children, and I've always been pretty much the caregiver, the caretaker of my family. So as a therapist, I sometimes struggle with the self-care piece. I actually go out in the community, I go out into schools and churches and talk to people about taking care of yourself and putting yourself first. And I realized when I went into private practice, that was one of the biggest things that I struggle with. You know that work is never, our work is never done. So I would find myself as 9 o'clock at night. I'm in the office, I'm starving, but I'm saying, let me do this last thing. Let me do this last thing. Let me do this last thing. So I'm used to kind of being in the hustle and bustle of doing so much and doing so much for other people, whether that's clients, family, friends, etc. And so when it's time for me to take time for myself, I realize, okay, goodness, it's Sunday and I haven't even had a chance to sit down and read a book or read the newspaper or do something else that I wanted to do because I felt that I was always staying busy or again doing things to take care of other people. So one of the things that I've tried to do now is practice a lot of the strategies and the techniques that I share with other people, that I can't be of help to other people unless I'm taking care of me mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. So that's one of the things that was my limitation at first, that I'm kind of getting into a grip of trying to overcome that.
Excellent. And so what type of thinking have you had to, have you changed your thinking or undo some thinking to make you so that you're not sweating your limitations?
One of the things that I do now is I try to prioritize my task. When I get to the office, I already pretty much know what things I may need to do throughout the day. Obviously, sometimes a monkey wrench is thrown in every now and then, but I try to set limitations. Speaking of limitations, I would say, okay, today I'm staying at the office until 6:30. Whatever isn't done, I'm going to do it tomorrow when I get to the office. I'm not going to take it home. I'm not going to stay here burning the midnight oil trying to get it done. So one of the things is that I've tried to prioritize my task. Like I said, set more limitations on my schedule. Tell people no, which is something that a lot of us struggle with. I'll have people during the day saying, hey, when you get off, can you do this? Can you do that? Do you mind doing? And I'm comfortable now with saying, no, I'm not going to be able to do that. However, I can help you out this weekend, or no, I can't, but I can point you in the right direction to get a resource that might can help you, instead of trying to be an octopus. Because when I'm an octopus, I'm not able to take care of myself. Right. So that's probably some of the biggest things that I've been doing and practicing. And again, I emphasize practicing because it's an ongoing process. One of the biggest things, growing up, I grew up in a very structured household. Not strict, but structured. My mom, I would get off the school bus. I already knew, get off the school bus, go in the house, change clothes, do this, do that. I had a very routine, structured schedule. So going into private practice, that's exactly, I kind of took all of those skills and what I thought at the time were skills into practice. And I was very calculated, very organized, very routine, very structured. And got into private practice and realized, wow, that is not at all how it works. I may be preparing for an activity, or I'm doing a workshop or a seminar, I have my outline going, I say, okay, I'm going to talk about this particular topic for 40 minutes, and then I'm going to have the group to do this, and then we're going to do that. Well, I get there, and one of the group members may open up and start sharing something that completely revamps what I had in mind. And at the beginning, that would really ruffle my feathers. I'm like, oh my goodness, this isn't the way I had it outlined. What am I going to do? I didn't get to this particular topic that I wanted to talk about. And I had to get comfortable with a plan B, a plan C, and things not going as calculated as I may have planned it to be. As I said, I kind of always was very calculated, very planful. So getting into private practice, working with different groups, definitely getting into the rut gut of, okay, when there's a change in the middle of the game, what do I need to do? And that was really a big adjustment for me.
Well, that's good. It sounds like your plan B and plan C helped you not to sweat those limitations. So tell me what your thinking was like to get you to, say, let me let that go, this structure. How did you, in your thought life, get that straight? What did you have to unlearn?
One of the things I had to unlearn was actually on the front end. I would come into a particular task and I said, okay, let me not be so adamant about, okay, this is exactly the way it has to go. I would come in and I would say, okay, this is what my goal is, or these are the things I know I want to achieve by the end of this particular task. However, if it doesn't go that way, I need to be comfortable with that. So I had to kind of actually change my thought process more so than the actual outline or the task. And had to be comfortable with changes that may come into play. So as I got more comfortable with that, again, changing the thought process about that in the beginning, then it promised me, it was a process. Still struggled with that, like probably about two or three activities that I did after I realized that, okay, I would leave an activity, be completely frustrated, feel unaccomplished, and feel like, okay, I didn't really meet these people's expectations, didn't do what I thought I wanted to do or needed to do based on what my outline was. Got to a point where I had to say, okay, I got feedback from the people that attended. They said it went well, so maybe I need to stop being so hard on myself. And that was one of the things that I really needed to do in terms of just changing that thought process.
Right. Sounds like that summed up the authentic self. So she gave some great advice, and I am grateful to have her here. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
And you can actually pick a copy of Who Told You Could Be You, Who Told You That You Couldn't Be You, The 10 Secrets to Living the Authentic You at barnesandnobles.com or amazon.com.